open the meeting, the public hearing portion of the meeting at this time. This is a public hearing with regard to City Resolution 2024-01. This has to do with vacating streets and alleys in the identified portion of the city that was published in the Marion Record. Is there anyone here that wishes to be heard with regard to the that resolution and the vacation of that property area? No one? Okay, thank you. With that, we will move on, declare the public hearing to be adjourned. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. We will go into the regular city council meeting at this time. We'll start with the flag salute. Please address the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will call the regular meeting to order at this time. With regard to the agenda, I guess I'll ask council members if you have anything that you wish to address on the agenda as it currently stands. I'm going to move to table number 9. I've asked that it be put on, but I'm really not ready to address that yet. So I would make it a motion to table portion 9. Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion to table and passes unanimously. Let's go then to the approval of the consent agenda. Anyone have any matters on the consent agenda that they wish to address?
Yes.
Okay. So at this time, you're asking for permission to address, can you identify?
It's the minutes from the previous meeting.
Okay. Any objection to taking that outside the consent agenda? No objection, go ahead.
And discuss it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I had just seen that, Janet, we have Michael Powers presiding as mayor, but then at the end, it looks like from the previous meeting, we left in there Mayor Powers absent. So I would...
Perhaps after watching me, she decided that was
That's true. Could be, I guess.
Oh, sorry.
So you'll make that change?
Yes.
I assume no one objects to the change. Anything else?
That was all I had.
From other council members, anything? Very well then. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. For those who have been to some of the previous meetings, and that is most of you, if not all of you, we've been experimenting with public comment and public forum. This is the public comment portion of our meeting. The public comment is so that if any of you wish to comment on something that is on this agenda that will be addressed tonight, this is an opportunity to do that before we would take any action on it. The public forum portion is still here. That's at the end of the meeting, and you can comment on anything you want there. So, is there anyone that has any comments with regard to items that are on the agenda tonight? Okay, seeing none, we will move on. Next up is the KPP solar project, and we have James Gang and Brooke Carroll. And if you folks would come up or take a seat, please. Welcome, thank you for coming. And I know you've got to get to Haven, I think.
Yeah.
So you can take as little or as much time as you want.
Okay.
Well, thanks for having us tonight. It looks like a lot of you guys are new since the last time we were here, so welcome and congratulations on your position. I'm Brooke Carroll, Director of Member Services for KPP Energy, and this is James Ging, Director of Engineering Services for KPP. And we're here tonight to talk about the KPP Energy PACE solar project that we are working on in 9 locations in our KPP membership, including Marion. And so before you should have a little packet. It's a very high level of our KPP PACE project. I could have written probably 50 pages on this project, but you're lucky you only got 3 here. But so we are here tonight to talk about your site. We're here to talk about an easement, if that's something that you all would like to pursue, and then just to kind of give you an update on this project. So back in October, we submitted a grant loan application with USDA, the PACE program, and we were accepted. We were told that our project could go forward, and so we have decided to move forward with this 20 megawatt project in 9 locations. It's approximately a $48 million project. So we have moved forward. You can see right here our progress update on the Marion site, some of the things that's kind of happened here. Back in November, we visited with Brogan, I believe, at the time, and he kind of got an overall feeling that you guys were interested in moving forward with this project. So we had to start work right away. The USDA requirements require us to move super fast. In fact, they needed 1 million things done in 60 days, and we gave them about everything we could in 60 days, and we're still working on that. The surveying and title work has been done on the location that we've selected, that we've agreed upon here in Marion. We have engaged with developers to talk about feasibility and engineering, and right now we are working through the environmental, tribal, and archaeological aspects that need to happen. This here, bottom part of your map, just kind of shows you where the property is located. I know you've got some special things to say about that application.
Yeah, so this property here would accept a 1 megawatt solar facility, and that's kind of what we had projected for the city of Marion, not to exceed what your minimum load is. That's a requirement we have. If we were going to exceed what your minimum load was, then we'd have to go through an extensive Southwest Power Pool generation interconnect, but to move quickly, that's a 5-year process. So to move quickly, we had to make sure that we stayed below minimums.
That's more handy.
Here in staff, on the west end of this location is a place that you store poles and stuff to do your everyday business. So we tried to scoot it as far east as possible, reserving as much of that ground. Reserving as much of that ground as possible so that you still had a laydown yard for poles and whatnot. So in total, there will be 1.28 megawatts of DC solar panels installed, and we expect to receive 1 megawatt in AC. That's what your system will take in. So it's basically 1 megawatt of capacity you're gaining on your system for free of charge for you. This will be a KPP asset, and we will offer those resources into the market just like we do all of our generating resources. So your asset will be going into the market, serving all 24 of our members. So you're helping, and you're a piece of that generation infrastructure for KPP. Without the PACE program, well, we'll get into that. Without the PACE program and the subsidies we're going to get for that, this project would not be viable. It's just too expensive to fit in our resources. So, as far as the surveying has been done, some preliminary environmental work has been done. Once we have an easement or a right to be on the property, then the archaeologists will move in and do their digs and make sure they don't find any artifacts. Even though this is not tribal ground, any land that a tribal group could have moved across has to be studied.
Even if they walked across it.
Yeah.
I mean, anything.
So,
yeah.
You mentioned that to me the other day when we were talking, and I thought about it after the fact. So they find an arrowhead out there. I assume that doesn't, they're gonna
No.
have to find something more significant than that to cause a problem. Yeah.
So they penetrate the earth down to what they believe was the level of earth whenever, someone walked across that to make sure they don't find it, and they do it in a grid pattern. If they do find anything, like, say, in the middle, then they'll tighten that grid up to see what, maybe they find a campsite or whatever. So, if they find something, then they condense, and they regroup and condense and do it.
How many tribes? Was it 7 or 11?
Yeah, we had to notify seven
Seven.
tribes in total,
Yeah.
so we're working with 7 tribes on
And
this project.
and a lot of them funnel everything through the Osage. So kind of the Osage is the hub of the tribe. So if it's okay for them, the other tribes will follow. But we have to notify all of those tribes. They have a certain amount of time, I don't know, 60 to 90 days to respond. If they did find something, they could come, I honestly, hopefully they wouldn't with an arrowhead, but they could come back and make us do additional surveying and additional work on that property.
Okay.
The 1 megawatt of solar that we're aiming to get for capacity out of that is going to produce, we estimate, around 2.3 million kWh per year. So that kind of puts it into perspective for the city of Marion. This production is roughly about 12% of all of the kWhs that you guys purchase from the KPP in a year. So sometimes people want to know, okay, 1 megawatt, what's that mean? Your electric bill is what, 1,200 or less kWh. So it's going to generate approximately 2.3 million kilowatts a year. All right, so moving on to the easement portion. You should have had in your packets, probably from Janet or Mayor Powers, an easement that we'd like to present tonight. And if you guys are in agreement with the use of that land, this easement would be needed to be established to allow us onto the property. This is a perpetual utility easement. It's pretty standard. It has information in here that talks about the access, how we're allowed to be on the property, how we will take care of insurance. We also intend to restore the property back to its original state at the end of the life of the asset. We estimate the life of the asset to be anywhere from 25 to 30 years, but if things are going well and it's maintained and we just keep going, and it's worth something, we may continue to go past that. If the PACE program does not come through, we would just rip this up and say, we're not going to do it, and it all goes back to you. So, like I said, if you guys are in agreement and you like this project and we're willing to move forward, we would need a motion to accept that easement. Anything else on that?
Yeah, I'd just point out that this easement is for KPP's access, not for telephone, not for anyone else. And it is for electric generation equipment, so we're not going to go park a semi-trailer out there or abuse it in that way. So, and then the obsolescence is in there. If it does fall through, it all reverts back to you. So.
One of the things that we want to guarantee with this project is it should not or will not cost the city of Marion anything. Any type of maintenance, any type of, if it got damaged, the asset's KPP. So you guys would never ever have to be in charge of any costs associated with this project. We would like, if you guys are interested in this, and we kind of assume you will, most of our cities do this, we will at some point enter into an operation and maintenance agreement with you. And at times when we need small maintenance done at the facility, maybe some spraying, maybe some very minor solar panel change out, whatever we felt comfortable with doing, you would bill us for your time and energy and any type of resources required for that. Also in that operation and maintenance agreement, that's where we want to address the payment for the use of the land. So we are keeping it separate from the easement. We would prefer to put it in the operation and maintenance agreement. And when that calculation comes through, it'll be an amount equal to the value of farmland at a rate per generation that month on a credit on your KPP bill. So it sounds more complicated than it is.
So our goal is if you're getting cash rent on that property from a farmer or whatever, we will maintain that existing payment that you're getting with that, so that you're not out anything. And the reason to put it into the operation agreement instead of in the easement is there could be a tax issue, and we just want to make sure that there's no tax liability passed on to the city.
Yeah.
Since you will own the property, we will own the asset.
Yeah. Any questions so far?
None?
So if this is agreeable and we move forward, I put in here a timeline of kind of what we expect. A notice to proceed from the USDA. We are working through open items with them, like easements and system impact studies and a bunch of other little things, or actually large things that they need. But as soon as we get the okay from the USDA, we're expecting that to be in quarter 2 of this year, hopefully. And we're going to start the ball rolling. I mean, we're going to try to work very, very quickly. We've already started purchasing some equipment that has very long lead times to try to get all this stuff online. We would love to have everything completed by first quarter of 2025 in all 9 sites and all the 9 locations. So
We are told that is achievable. We'll see if that does happen.
Yeah.
Long lead time items now are like 40 weeks, 50 weeks, so that already puts us into December and January.
Right.
So we're trying to hedge as much of that time off as we can.
The financial implications of this project, as Jane started to mention a minute ago, we couldn't do this project without the subsidies of the PACE loan. So our $48 million project, our total project cost is going to be around $48 million. We asked USDA for $35 million because we actually went in all together with another entity for a $100 million project that was a max. So we got $35 million. We are allowed to have a 20% loan forgiveness, so you take the 35 minus the 20%, you're already down. So then the next piece that really made this attractive was the elective pay tax credits that we are able to receive from the U.S. government. They're brand new to entities like us who don't pay taxes because we're not for profit, we're like a city. So we are able to get up to 40% reduced cost of that total $48 million that we're getting there. So that makes it a good deal. Also, a couple of our sites qualify for an additional 10% because they're in certain areas for low to moderate income. So with that, it ends up being approximately, we're able to acquire this capacity and generation for about 2.5 cents per kilowatt hour. That's what we're going to be paying for it. If we were to go out on the market and buy capacity, we're looking at closer to 7 cents per kilowatt hour. So when cities ask, well, why is this good for us? Why do we want to do this? Well, you guys purchase power from the KPP. If we can get power cheaper to you all win, right? So that is one of the, yeah.
And we're in a position where we do have to add capacity pretty darn quick. This is a way for us to get capacity online at what is cheaper than what the market rate's going for, which is the 7 cents. So
another good aspect about this, especially if you're looking to have more green energy, and I know a lot of people are, this is something that you can promote. And also, sometimes industries come to town and they're looking for ways to say, I'm in a community that has green energy, and there's opportunities for them to obtain those renewable energy credits from this project as well. So, last page, I guess I forgot about that. This here is a site that was developed in Beloit, Kansas. This developer is the same developer that we're going to be using. Their name is Priority Power, and some people have asked us, what's this going to look like? What can we expect? And this isn't going to be exactly like ours, but I just kind of wanted to show you what it looks like. We intend to put gravel down. We intend to put a nice fence around it. We want it to look good. So this doesn't have that, but the solar panels are pretty standard. You can see the construction going on. That kind of stuff will be happening. there's opportunities to do ribbon cutting ceremonies, put up signage that talks about your project. Be more than willing to work with the school system to do tours and information on renewable energy and the solar farm that we have here. And that's about all I have, unless you guys have any more questions. James,
No,
anything
be
else?
great.
I guess I just have one question. How often is maintenance required on like these sites? How often will you guys have to be out there?
So, annually, there's gonna have to be weed control, stuff like that.
Right.
There, about every 15 years, you have to augment in new inverters. That's about the life expectancy of an inverter, so there'll be some of that maintenance. Other than that, the maintenance is pretty light, unless a storm rolls through here or something and just destroys it. There will be, there'll be some day in, not really day in, day out, but we'll be monitoring it day in, day out to see if there's any issues, whether a panel needs changed out, things like that.
We will enter into an operation and development, or operation and maintenance agreement with our developers as well to handle the high-end things, not the day-to-day. They have a service team that will probably come through every so often and just double-check some of the major components that would need done.
I have a question for you. Are there any issues with the roads leading into it as far as for getting the equipment, proper equipment in there, what's currently there? Are there gonna be modifications or any upkeep in order to allow the maintenance equipment and the construction equipment to get in?
No, it'll be light equipment, it'll be Bobcats, it'll be trucks, nothing big, yeah. They actually designed the site so you can actually drive all the way around it, so you can, you're not carrying a panel from one end to the other, just things like that.
So we can put it on our scenic tour?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Any other questions? They talked to me probably, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes the other day, so they can go on and on if you want them to. But if there are no further questions, I assume what you would like is a vote of the council tonight to grant the easement.
Can I ask a question? Please.
There was a public comment session.
But I didn't know they were gonna do this. Is the fence, is there any danger in vandalism? Does the fence prevent vandalism?
The fence is built to prevent vandalism. It will be like a substation class fence with barbed wire across the top. So, yes.
Well, since Margaret went down that road, how sensitive are they? I mean, they obviously must stand up to hailstorms and such. So
Yep.
if some little kid stands outside the fence and throws a, I don't know, rock across, is that gonna be a big deal?
Anything can be vandalized. Depends on how big the rock is, if it's a brick like your box there, it might break something, but, these units do go into what, I don't know what they call it exactly, I just think of it as storm mode, where they actually, store themselves in a vertical or a horizontal position for when the hailstorms come through or stuff, so they have little weather stations on them, and they know what the weather is, and know to go into preventive damage mode, I guess. And we're learning as we go, so we'll find out.
But any damage is our problem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's our
so-
problem,
Yeah.
And these are, you don't have solar fields anywhere else, I take it then?
These are the
In
first
your,
of our
part of
kind.
your system, yeah.
Other than the little one.
Yeah,
You
you
got
have
a little one?
the little 25 kW unit out in the industrial park
Oh,
by
yeah,
John Deere.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, we've got the utility easement in front of us. I think you all have a copy of it. Is there a motion to grant it?
I'll move that we motion to approve granting the electrical generator utility easement.
Is there a second?
My second.
Amy, second? Any discussion?
Brian, have you had a chance to look through this?
No.
I have not. I mean, it seems like it's fairly straightforward.
Yeah, I should have made sure, Brian, that you saw this. How many other cities are already on board?
You are not the last, I'll put it at that. We have about 6 easements signed.
Yeah.
And we got 3 more.
Cleaning up a few more, yeah. We've got some redesigns in a couple of cities, but, yeah.
I would be willing to amend my motion to include upon approval
Yeah.
of Brian's. So I would add that to my
You
motion.
okay with that amendment?
Yep.
Okay. Any objection to the amendment to the motion? None? Okay, it'll be amended so that the motion would be to approve the easement, subject to approval by the city attorney. Any further discussion? Ready to vote? Okay, all in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously, and would you pass that down to Brian, please? And I don't mean, Brian, that I expect you to do this tonight, but there's your copy.
We might want to add, once that is all signed and approved, probably the next step's going to be the archaeological dig that's going to happen, and you want to explain what that's all about?
Yeah, so I witnessed it myself. 4 little college kids are out there digging holes about 1 foot by 3 foot deep, and they go down, they try to find anything, they screen the dirt, and then they put it all back, and they do a very good job putting it back. If it was a piece of grass, you might see, the turf disturbed right there, but they put the turf cap right back on it. They put all the dirt right back in the hole and pack it back in. So they do a very good job. And alpine archaeologists are the name of the firm, and they come highly recommended, especially by the Indian tribes.
And how long does that process take?
It does not take them long. They did 35 acres in about 5 days the other day, so they move right along.
So long as they don't find something, then it's,
Right.
then it's extended.
I mean, if
for as
they
long as
do
it
find
needs to.
something like significant, how much of a delay can that be? Like, would it really, could it just
They
depend?
increase their grids, so
Oh,
instead of
okay.
doing, 20 foot, maybe they do
Yeah.
10 foot, and they just do that. And then I probably write a report and send it off to
Yeah.
the USDA and to the tribes and see kind of
Wow.
where do we go from
Yeah.
here.
It's like a process.
Yeah.
it is.
They actually are in Hillsborough starting
Tomorrow.
today or tomorrow, yeah,
Oh,
if
yeah,
you would like to witness it, so.
yeah.
Interesting. Yes.
But it's other than a pickup truck and four people running around with shovels, that's all you'll notice.
Brian, do you think that there would be any problem with your giving us the thumbs up or thumbs down this week?
You'll probably have it tomorrow.
Okay. And once we get the okay from Brian, if he has an issue, we'll send it
Sure.
to you and you can
Yep.
address it.
Please
But,
do.
once he gets that, Janet, just, if you don't see me coming in to sign it, give me a buzz and I'll come down and sign it. Okay?
Sounds
Appreciate your
good.
time, thank you.
Thank you,
All right,
guys.
thank you guys, thank you.
Next, we need to go into executive session to deal with some matters subject to attorney-client privilege. So I'm going to move that we go into executive session for a period of 20 minutes, and that included in the session with the council would be City Administrator Mark McInerney, City Clerk Janet Robinson, City Attorney Brian Bina, and Attorney Jennifer Hill. Anyone second that motion?
Judge, you're going to have to set out that it's for attorney-client privilege to discuss pending litigation, that whole thing.
Read the
Well, I
line.
said it was subject to attorney-client privilege. You also want it to include
Pending litigation.
pending litigation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So with that amendment, because if nobody seconds it, we're not going to have a vote. and we're not-
I second.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, set a time.
We will go in, well, I had to get the motion passed. We'll go in at 5:30 right now. We'll be in for 20 minutes. We'll come out at 5:50. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Thank you. we're out of executive session, and we'll again go forward with the meeting, noting that no action of any sort was taken with regard to any matter as a result of either executive session. Next matter up is number 8, the 202 Miller property, and we have the gentleman right here, and we have Mr. Masters. Mr. Masters, you want to bring us up to speed?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. So we was in here January 7th on this here, and you guys set this over for a continuance to till tonight, hoping for the completion of the project. Let's see here. So we had all that yucky weather. I kind of all remember that and stuff. But I did finally get caught up with Donald and his son on February 7th. And I inspected the property at that time. When I did catch up with him, I gave him a list of the items that needed to be done. I did an inspection of the property, and it was still just like it was a month earlier. But I gave Stephen a copy, this would be Donald's son, a copy of the building codes for stairs and handrails, and also gave him a list of things that they needed to be completed and what was going to have to pass inspection in order for it to meet the building codes. And then on February 28th, I was asked to come do an inspection on 2 pier holes. I went over and did an inspection on 2 pier holes for the steps. They were 30 inches deep, and they would pass building inspection once they were filled with concrete, and they could build off those to attach their stairs to the house. I went over today and did another inspection, and they have cleaned up most all of the demolition that was on the property. There's a few stairs and things like that left in there from the demolition, but for the most part, all the rock and debris and junk has been hauled off. I took a look at I was asked to do an inspection on the materials that were going to be used for the project, and I kind of made a few notes to them concerning the materials, what might need to be done, in order for the materials to work for their project. But other than that, like the handrail that they have selected would not pass the building code because of the spindles. It's over 30 inches high up to where the stairs are going to be. That's about it. I did bring some stuff with me, but if you guys don't, the list, I brought the list that I had taken over there. I brought copies of that list if you want copies of that,
So excuse me are you recommending then that we cease any action with regard to this property? Are you passing it at this point in time?
I'm not passing it, no,
Okay,
no. There's still no stairs to the back door,
okay, that's true, you said that.
okay?
All right.
And, so, no, I'm not passing this here and plus the old stairwell that went up to the upstairs is still just hanging out there, it still needs to be supported also.
So we're down to literally a handful of items at this point?
Yeah, it is, and, we still have the bids from the demolition. I did contact contractors today. One of the contractors added $2,000 to his bid, added $2,000 to his bid. The other contractor did not add any more to his bid.
Any questions for James from the council? Okay. Don, would you want to come up?
The row, he suggested, he talked about, I've already,
Hang on, the wind chimes are blowing.
the handrail, he said it wouldn't work, I've already reordered another one. You know, like, we thought we'd be further along, once we started tearing all the old subroof off, what we thought was gonna be a soffit, that we're definitely gonna have to have another pole that we thought, I didn't think we was gonna have to have, that we're definitely gonna have to have. Plan on trying to get that hole dug this week. And like I said, we've already got all the concrete, the materials, like he said, so, you know, we've got everything to do the back steps. But he came by today, said we needed 2 more pieces of rebar. You know, I did not want to build the steps without him seeing and making sure they're up to code. You know, I did not want to do it all and him come by and say, no, this won't work. So, no, I have not done them, but yes, we do have the materials, and, you know, we do have I know we're gonna have to dig at least one more hole for that other pole. So,
Well, questions from council?
That's what how much time do you think you need to complete everything? I mean, so we don't just keep kicking the can down the road for 30 days and do it again, or?
yeah, 30 days would probably, I mean, you know, now that the weather's, you know, we haven't been under ice for the 30 complete days, you know, of January.
Sure.
You know, we got a lot more done in February up to this point, so, I mean, now that the weather's nice. You know, I'm off every weekend, so that, you know, we've been trying to get everything, you know, every weekend we've been working on it. So, you know, this weekend, we'll definitely have the other stuff ready for Mr. Masters to inspect Monday. I mean, if you give me 30 days, I know I can have it all completed.
This is the first meeting in March, obviously. The
Yes.
first meeting in April is April 1st.
Okay. I mean, I will be here also.
I'm
March 18th
hesitant
building.
to do it on April 1st.
Yeah, totally. Okay, we can do it the second.
No, I think we'll stick with the first. I think that the rest of the council would agree with this statement. We just want it to be done.
Yes. Oh, me
And
too,
if-
trust me. But like I said, I want to make sure that Mr. Masters knows that it's up to code. I want him, like I said, when we dig the other hole, you know, he's gonna come around and inspect it. And like I said, I want to make sure as we go, I just want him involved and to know that, you know, I want to make sure that it's up to code.
So and I want you to be honest about this, because if you really truly feel like you need to the 22nd, can't read it, 15th, we could do that. But if that's your options, is tax day or April Fool's Day. Pick one of those and.
It's a tax day, so he's saying,
Okay, yeah, he's requesting to the just in case we do get some, because this is Kansas. So, yeah, we might get another freeze or two, yeah. If that's okay, yes, I mean, we will have, and I will contact Mr. Masters along the way, make sure that we're doing everything okay.
Back to council, questions or thoughts?
My only additional thought would be, maybe James, could you give us, even if it's just a written update at one of the meetings in between of if there's been any progress made, you know, at either.
Like,
April 1st or?
Yeah, it's either that one or probably the April 1st meeting.
Yeah.
But, I mean, my thought, James, would be, we don't necessarily need you to be here, just a written update if you could swing by and just look at what progress has been made.
I'll do that, I'll just put it in the agenda packet.
If everybody.
yeah, we appreciate that.
That appears to be fine with everyone.
And I will be here on the 18th, with the update in person for the
15th.
public, March 18th.
Oh, I got you, okay.
Yeah, I'll be here for a public forum to give just a personal update from myself.
Great.
Is it the will of the council then to have this placed on the agenda for April, good Lord, 15th? That's-
Yes.
No
Yes.
dissent, okay.
Yep.
Don, let me, just for what it's worth, after you were here last meeting, three people, not a lot, it wasn't like, you know, there was just phone calls all through the night or whatever, but people have been watching these, some people, not everybody, obviously, on TV and stuff. And the people that talked to me, and I didn't bring it up to anybody because it wasn't that big a deal, but the people that did talk to me felt like that you were kind of punching below the belt, that it was, your comments, they really weren't relevant to the issue at hand, and that it was just kind of being mean. I'm just telling you that because that's the response I got from people. Then it's neither here nor there, it's not gonna affect what we're doing, but I just thought I'd pass that on to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next matter on the agenda, number 11, deals with the audio and video equipment that we've been using here for a while. And Gene, would you be because I need you to be on record, so would you be willing to go over there? Can you just set it to whatever it needs to be and? So when we moved the chairs and everything around and reset this up, we have, as you've all noticed, a camera behind Gene that catches the council, and then a camera back here that catches the people at the front desk or at the community place. And then Gene has the ability and has been utilizing it to put, like if when someone's sitting there, can put that person picture in picture, so you can see the council and you can see the person that.
That's the way it is right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also has the ability to focus in on if Councilman Collett, councilperson Collett, is speaking, could just focus in on him, that sort of thing. So I don't know how many of you have watched them, but I think it's a far, far superior thing than what we had before. It's not perfected. We had some static at the beginning of the last meeting, but in any event, I think it's a good thing. So Gene has a proposal. Why don't you just go ahead and explain it?
Okay, I just want you to know that I don't want to do this forever. And I talked to Mike a little bit about it, and I originally had thought of a figure, and I thought that's more than it needs to be. So I'm proposing to do it for $25 each night. I would also train a couple people, whoever we want to do it, to be here when I'm not here. I will still upload it to our YouTube, MCTV's YouTube. I give a copy of it to Zach, and he uploads it to the city's website. And then I also put it on Channel 20 to be shown on Tuesday nights and on there. So, but, you know, I just wanted to get you guys up and get you going. And like I say, as long as everything's fine, you know, I'd be glad to come here each night and do it. And I think $25 is not a lot, but, you know, I'm not doing it for the money. I just want to get something out there that people can see what's going on.
We appreciate it. There's been many people that they're so happy to be able to see who's speaking instead of the back of their heads.
Yeah.
And that's made a huge difference, too.
Well, some people, they'd rather just see the back of their head.
That's true.
I will say that I've had comments from people that I had no idea even watch council meetings saying that both the camera and the audio is much better since we've gone to this.
I've had the same.
I would just point out that the equipment cost involved in this was just under $2,500. That has been paid through a grant from the Marion Advancement Campaign, paying for the equipment because they feel it's in the best interests of the community. I think the thing that's interesting is that we did it for that amount, or Gene did it for that amount. If you would look at what surrounding governmental entities have put into doing this same thing, you would be very, 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 very pleased with what we've put into it. So, Gene has, after talking to Gene, I talked to Sandy in the clerk's office. And Sandy was very willing to be trained, on the equipment. Zach, I think Zach ought to be our backup to the backup, because I don't know that I like having, the on-duty chief of police, being tied down here to running video equipment. But in any event, we need to have at least a couple of people, trained that they can step in at any given time. So, questions for Gene?
I have no questions. I think you did a great job.
Yeah.
Appreciate all your time and everything to get it all organized and to come do it every week.
Is this something that, just kind of shooting it out there, that a high school student could come during the summer or are we wanting more of a?
Well, a high school student could probably learn it quicker than
Well, that's what I
anybody
was
else.
thinking. They run the sound system. A couple of them run the sound system at the PAC.
Oh, okay.
And it would be, I think, a great experience for.
Mike, I would have no concern about having someone be here from the high school and do some of this, but obviously we want some continuity, long-term.
And Sandy has small kids too, so you kind of have to keep that in mind. They have a lot of activities in
Yeah.
the evenings too.
Yeah.
Mike, I might just mention, the school is working on a, school course in media and so forth. I am on the board, and, they hired, I can't think of the guy's name, to head it up, and it's gonna be a curriculum that they're gonna offer, and, they're gonna try to get some video equipment and so forth, and be able to, do some school events that, that just, come up at a minute's notice or whatever, and get some kids trained into announcing and so forth. And it might work in that, a couple of them might be interested in doing something like this, So,
I don't think, I can't speak for anybody but myself. I don't have any problem with, one of the young people being trained or several young people being trained in it. I just would not want to rely on them as our primary source of that service. Yeah. So the offer, I think, from you, Mr. Winkler, is that you would undertake this at a cost, as a private contractor, at a cost of $25 a meeting.
yeah.
Questions for Gene?
I
Discussion?
originally thought that it would probably be worth $50, and then when I went home and thought about it, and I thought that's too much. It shouldn't cost that much for somebody to come down here and work a couple hours and do it. And when I'm not doing it, and you have to get somebody else in here, it's probably worth $25 for them to come in and do it, but, I'm not doing it for the money.
So I'm going to abstain on this issue, since I was so involved with it. I would, Mr. Vice Mayor, would you take it from here, please?
Yep. I'll make a motion to approve, contracting with Gene Winkler for a cost of $25 a meeting to operate the video and audio equipment. Does that sound right, Gene? Okay.
I'll second.
Who did that?
I did.
Kevin?
Thanks, Kevin.
We've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with Mayor Powers abstaining.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gene.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Gino. Sorry, I had to.
Next matter on the agenda is scheduling of a council work meeting, study meeting. I had a good conversation with Mark today, and surprisingly, he's got some great ideas. And I think we can explore some of them, as well as some of his thoughts about the study meetings themselves, at a meeting. So what I would hope we could do, if you're all amenable, is talk a little bit about when you would be available and when we could schedule a meeting that we could all bring whatever we wanted to bring to the table and start trying to set some priorities, set some ideas of timelines on what we're going to get into, and just what we feel like needs to be addressed by the council. So I know that, I mean, Zach, you work out of town, Kevin, you work out of town, Amy, you're tied up. Is it every day of the week? Okay, and it's at least through the morning, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much until about 2:30.
Okay. So and you're tied up all day.
I can
So-
bring my work, though.
No, do not do that. Do not do that. They're cute, but no, do not do that. So I think we're talking about an evening meeting. Is there any evening, night of the week that, I would guess, well, let me just let you guys speak for yourself. Is there any night you want to just not even talk about doing it on?
I think Wednesday nights are probably off limits.
Until
I know
summer.
Most of the churches in
Yeah.
town do church events on Wednesday nights, so
Okay.
Probably no on a Friday night.
Okay. I was waiting for you to explain why.
I just, it's stuck in the weekend.
I mean, obviously, we're already doing, the first and the third Mondays, so we could, that'd be, just add a Monday in here.
just say, quite honest, that's always kind of my opinion, is to just stick it on an off Monday.
Or could we ever follow up after a meeting and just continue
I thought,
through?
Amy, I wondered about that too, but I guarantee you, as soon as we did, it would probably be the meeting where we go 2 hours, and then but, I mean, I'm down with whatever you guys want to do. Tim?
Mondays work good. There's a fifth Monday in April. We make it 1, 3, and 5.
I don't want to wait that long if we can.
No, but Monday would be fine with me.
Yeah, okay.
That's all I'm saying.
What about, oh man, April 8th is my anniversary. I'll be in so much trouble. We might, unless you guys are willing to do something like March 25, we're probably going to have to go later in April.
I can do the 25th.
Can you, Tim?
Let me real quick.
Okay.
Yes.
It's down to you. Okay. So what time do you want to do it? You want to go do it at 5, just like this?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. So 5 o'clock on March 25 for a work/study session. And Janet, make sure to give notice to anybody that has requested notice with regard to that. Do you have anybody other than the newspaper? Okay, well, make sure to give notice to those 2 parties. Anything else on this that anybody wants to? Okay, we will move on then to the reports. I'm going to skip over you, Mark, and just ask the department heads or representatives that are seated at the back of the room, and we'll start with you, Margot.
Just busy, between zoning stuff and, I'm supposed to step up here, aren't I?
Yes, you are. You can take that mic off and just take it over and pass it down so you don't have to stand there.
Okay, is it on?
Oh, yeah.
See, I don't need this.
Good point.
Yeah, it's been very busy today, and there's lots going on with zoning and businesses and all kinds of stuff. So I can't say a whole lot, but I didn't take much of a breath today, so.
Do you mind if I address the discussion we had last week? I won't go into great
Yeah,
detail.
that's okay. That's fine.
Were you going to anyway?
No, because I never know what you want me to say, what you don't want me to say.
Margot, I want you to tell the truth.
I always do.
Margot and I have had a couple of conversations, and at this point in time, the result of them is that she had formally announced a retirement date in May. We're taking that off the table. And she and I will revisit the issue of her retirement and what form it might take a little bit later in the summer. But she's not saying she's not going to retire, but it might be in a little different form than it currently is, or for sure the timeline's going to change. So I know there are some people that are concerned about that because of Art in the Park and other issues, but that's why I bring it up. Go ahead.
Art in the Park is something else this year. I don't know why, but it is going to be big. Yeah.
It's because we put out that thing, "Come Say Goodbye to Margot."
Well, that was last year, but maybe that's because maybe I think I'm not going to be there. I don't know. But no, it's, I just want to leave feeling like everything's in a good place, and I did what I could to help make that happen. So that's all it is about.
Thank you. Any
Yeah.
questions for Margaret? We've already kind of heard from you, James, but anything else you want to address?
Yeah, there's, I don't usually say much, for the department head reports and stuff like that, but, this last, up to the first of the year, we've had a lot of good success on cleaning up some yards and stuff like that. And I know we got a big one coming up, it's down on the south end of Coble. There's a new house that was built right there, and then there was another lady, and we're working with that lady that lives right there by that new house to get that yard cleaned up and stuff. And she's been very cooperative and stuff,
Good.
Let's see, what's that? Yes, yeah, abatement was ordered. So, yeah, I don't know if you hear too much about what happens in court, but courts, as far as the environmental code and violations and the things that I do, has been going very well. People are cleaning up their yards. We're having a lot less people coming into the courtroom now, and it's been really good. I think that we did 2 great, big, huge cleanups, and then all of a sudden we did a few more after that, but they just kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and so people were getting out trying to clean their yards up before we ever got there, and so it's been very, very good. There's a couple of construction projects going on here in town. There's the addition to the hospital. It's moving along pretty good. They've actually gotten ready to start putting the ceiling grid in the new addition there at the hospital. The high school project is coming along really well. The contractors are all real good to work with over there. They call them for their inspections, and it's all going really good. Grass season's coming up, so fun.
Thanks, James. Zach?
So yesterday, we let Bryant Edwards go. He just wasn't meeting his academic standards that he needed to meet. So we're short again.
At the academy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the officer that was at the academy, he was supposed to start week 7 this week. He's had some academic struggles, and just wasn't meeting the standards required for us and for the academy. And so we unfortunately had to move on. Outside of that, so now we're short again, but we've got some prospects that we should be meeting with in the next week or so, and hopefully get another one on.
Any questions or anything for Zach? Thank you, Zach. Stephen?
We're just then cutting trees and getting the old food bank ready for demolition.
It wasn't the last time I talked to you, but one of the previous times I talked to you, you were in the tree trimming, phase of getting trees off of lines and things like that. Did that go okay? Did you have any upset people?
We had a couple, but they understand after you get them calmed down a little bit, so.
Thank you. Landon, are you, I know you're just here minding your own business, but.
Just come to hang out.
You come to hang out. That's a sad statement, young man. Anything that you think we need to know or address?
Not really. We're just
Okay.
picking up the trees.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. So with that, Mark,
I have one.
oh, you have a question
Yes.
for Landon?
So did we do something different with the street sweeper? Because it seems like it's done a lot better job this
I
year. It seemed like before
agree.
you'd see it blow from one side of the street to the other. And now it actually seems like it's picked it up, and I've
Who-
noticed it in lots of places.
Who drove that too, by the way?
Ronnie, our park guy.
Oh, I
That's
mean,
his
he
kinda
made
wintertime
sure
project.
he got like every pile of leaves. I was gonna mention that. They look, it just makes the whole street
Looks a
look
lot better.
amazing. Yeah.
We just made some
totally agree
upgrades.
About the streets, I mean, it's like.
But it did, in the past, it just seemed like it would take it from the curb and blow it out into the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
wait till the wind blew it someplace else, and now it actually seems to be gone, so.
Yeah, we replaced the side broom, new dirt deflectors, rubber shoes, just some upgrades that were needed.
Well, nice, it's been noticed, thank you.
Yeah, it looks
Good
gorgeous.
point, good point. Janet, anything from you?
No.
Mr. Mark?
Nothing really, just still, learning the process here, and think about the things that we've done before in other places that might be advantageous here. And we'll be talking about those.
I should have asked, you okay on that work study night? Okay. I'd really like you to at least maybe some of the things that, I mean, I get it. We've got to baby step this thing, but there are some of the things you've talked about, I'd really like you to mention it when we do that.
Okay, sure.
I think that's it with regard to staff, so let's go to the council. Amy?
Well, Tim and I met with the library at different occasions. He has the paper, but it was quite interesting hearing, you know, how the library works and you know, the process of how they do things. And I'll let Tim explain that more with, I don't have my sheet, but it was just really good to get out there and hear how other areas of the community work. And since they're such a huge part of this community, I think it was important. And just my other thing was the street sweeper. I just thought it made our street look like really great. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Zach?
I don't have anything.
Kevin?
I was wondering, because I know in the years past, it seems like they've done 2 or 3 blocks of paving a new street. Is there a priority list on, I know we'd always said they did 2 or 3 blocks, like $150,000 a year. Is there in the time I've been on here, I don't ever recall seeing a kind of, I guess, which streets are the worst or next, if we still are going to do that, or.
Do you know the answer to that, Landon?
We just, you know, me, Tim, and Steven, some of the other guys sit down and we just kind of go through and pick the ones that we think are the worst.
I
Did
also have an
EBH at
answer to
one-
that, yeah.
Okay,
So
I was
we
gonna
have
say, I thought I heard Darren
We
one
have an
time.
approved comprehensive plan on file, that, I mean, really should probably be gone through at least annually, I'd say, and
Yeah.
look at an update. But Darren went through and evaluated, basically the way they do it is he goes through and grades every street, a color from green to red, and then puts a priority on it in terms of, right, like Cedar Street would carry a higher priority than some side streets. We have that plan on file. We would just, like I said, I mean, it's worth reviewing and updating, because I'm sure that there's things that have changed. Now, that doesn't just cover streets, that's kind of everything in terms of, what we wanna do, whether it's water, sewer, all that stuff, but I would say it's worth reviewing, maybe worth reviewing fairly soon, considering we've got a lot of new people on here now.
Yeah, I would agree. But just before you go on, my understanding, you're right, that the previous couple of years, it was $150,000 in the budget for that. But I believe that the previous council only allotted $100,000 for the upcoming year. So we'll have a little bit less to work with.
And then, was there something on, hopefully I get my street right, Locust, where that, Cause I saw you, there was something going on up there today, I saw.
Yeah, we're just prepping for concrete.
Oh, gotcha, so they're gonna fix that? Okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. I think that's all.
Thanks, Kevin.
Me?
Yes, sir.
Couple things, I was gonna follow up, yeah, I'd met with Janet, at the library, mostly out of my own ignorance of really knowing how all the different parts of the city, operate, and I wanna know, how does the library operate? Where does it fall within the budget and everything like that? So she made a little, kind of summary of just how the, library's set up, how it operates, and so I was just gonna give that to each of the council members, just for your own information and just to give, if you wanted these too, you're welcome. It's not that anything I made, this was just something that Janet made, and I was just passing along so everyone just has, the same information.
Thank you.
The, the library, and this is just kind of for everyone's information about how it really works. The library does fall under the city. They have an operating budget of about $95,000. I think this last year it went up to 103. And, there you go. And it's operated by a board, so they make the decisions of where the money's spent. The city doesn't do it, it's the board that decides it. And they're really responsible for all the building, all the staff, everything within it. The only thing the city really kind of helps out with is maintenance around, mowing, changing furnace filters and that sort of thing. There's one full-time staff member, which is Janet, who's been there for quite several years now. And all the rest are part-time, so Janet's really the only one that receives, the city benefits of full employment. They're pretty much their annual budget, which they've never gone over. They operate really well with that. There's some other little funding that comes in through the state for small libraries that helps with computers and some internet, as well as then donations. A lot of memorials are set up for books and additional funds to help fund the library. So overall, they're doing an excellent job, I think, operating within what they're supposed to do. Janet did mention, though, this was the first time that she can ever remember that a city councilman actually came in and talked to her to ask her how things are going and see. She was very, very appreciative to have a little more open conversation, to know. She's just kind of there doing what she thinks she's supposed to be doing, the best that she can, and just kind of be on the same page of what the purpose and the scope of the library should be, so that we're spending those taxpayer dollars in such a way that benefits the community, but that it best can. The only big thing coming up, everything's in pretty good shape, but she did just mention their furnace unit. They don't even know how old it is. It's at least 30 plus years old. So someday if that goes out, that'll be a big expense that we'll have to adjust their budget in order to cover the cost of. So that's just kind of an update on the library. So if anyone had any other questions about that, you can talk to me, but that's what, I just want to get everyone kind of up to speed of how libraries operate and where they're at. Also, last meeting it was brought up about a comment box. Just for your own information, on the city's website, there is a place where you can go on there and you can type in a comment, and it is sent here to the city office. So I did it today and it worked. I just kind of said hi, did you get this? And they did right away. So there is an online comment section for those who don't want to address us directly. You can directly do that through the city's website. The last thing is, I don't know who would be responsible, but our council should probably be updated a little better on our website about all of us, so we don't have the previous council still on our website. So we need to address that. I don't know who or what, but we should get that taken care of. So that's what I have.
My understanding is that Sandy's working on that. Am I correct?
Yeah, and we need to take a picture.
I think the earlier council was better looking, so maybe we just roll with that.
They can use that camera behind you.
There we go.
The only thing I have is Kristen from the Moderate Income Housing Project, Lang Realty, whatever their name is, has been doing a nice job of staying in contact with Janet and myself, and everything is good there. She actually had talked about coming to this meeting to have that discussion with us that one of you mentioned. I think it was somebody on this side last meeting. And then felt like they'd be a little further along and able to better address the questions and comments at a later meeting. But I'd be surprised if we didn't see her either next meeting or sometime in April. But as far as I know, there's no problems with anything. And that's all I have. So I think we are ready for public forum. Anyone wish to address the council from the public? I should have said this earlier, but, I'm not gonna ask you your name, because
I'll tell you.
I think, well, I am gonna try to make that a practice, though, to have people identify themselves, so if you wanna do that, that'd be fine.
Well, it would be nice because I haven't met Mark yet, so I'm Ruth Herbal, past counselor. Okay, I have a couple of questions to start with, I guess. And one of them is, we received the new bucket truck we were notified at last council meeting. Could you tell me what the cost was on the invoice?
If I'm reading this right, Ruth, it was $159,971.85. 159,971.85.
Okay. Okay, I was really concerned about this, and it didn't start the last 2 weeks. This started in 2023, when we first looked at this bucket truck, and it was presented to us by Brogan. There were several misconceptions at that meeting. The first one being, Brogan told us that the contract had been expired. The contract, as far as I know, and I have a copy of it here, expires in October of 2024. So we have 7 months of payments left on that 2019. Okay, 2 weeks ago, we took possession of the new bucket truck that was not supposed to be here until 2025. That's what we were told in that budget year. Steve Hart made a statement that the lease on the current 2019 bucket truck had expired and the city was making monthly payments. We do make monthly payments, but it's still on the lease. We had a 60-month lease. He also said there would be not a penalty if we turn back the 2019 truck back to Alltech. The lease has not expired, and the penalty would be 7 months of payments on this truck according to the lease. The 2019 bucket truck has a 5-year lease, which will expire October 2024. There are 7 payments left on this lease. Even if the city decides to drop this lease, we will have to pay $1,688.70 for 7 months. This is a total of $11,820.90, the balance of the lease agreement. The lease agreement can be terminated as provided or extended automatically as provided in paragraph 3 of the contract. The leaser can exercise an option to purchase the equipment at fair market value. At the time of the lease, the purchase price was $110 or $110,796. At the end of the lease, the city will have paid $93,600. The difference between the purchase price and the total amount paid at the end of the lease is a difference of $17,196. For a little more money, the city could have owned the bucket truck instead of leasing it. Then it could have been sold to recoup some of the purchase price. As we have been told, that type of bucket truck is in high demand. It is only 5 years old and has less than 26,000 miles. My point is, maybe we should consider paying the other 7 months of penalty or payment at the end of the lease and consider purchasing the truck. Regardless, the city will still have to pay the 7 months of payment according to the lease agreement. As far as fair market value, I found a 2019 AT41M with 49,000 miles for a purchase price of $124,980, which was the lowest mileage for a 2019 I could find on the internet. I'm asking that fair market value be requested from Alltech and that a decision could be made to buy or just pay the other 7 months left on the lease and consider it a loss for the taxpayers. We have to pay the 7-month lease. It's a 60-month lease. And regardless if we pay or don't pay, or we purchase it, you know, this is something we could purchase this truck, and even if it cost us $50,000 to purchase it, we could still make money and recoup some of the money. And why the city council decided not to
purchase the truck outright instead of making a lease on it for 60 months. I have no idea.
I appreciate your thoughts, and I will just tell you that I'm not so sure that we're gonna have to be in a situation of continuing the lease or paying a penalty.
Good.
It's being looked into. Don't have an answer right now.
Okay, well, I hope that's the case,
Yeah.
but the lease says you have to pay the 60
Right.
months.
Right.
Now, if you can talk them out of it, that would be great.
Might not be me, but
Well,
we're working on it.
Okay, all right, that's basically all I have to say tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Ruth. Thank you. And I think this gentleman, did you wish to address the council? I'm sorry, but yes. If you wouldn't mind, just state your name and then go ahead, whatever you wish to say.
My name's George Schutte. I moved here from Lehigh, northwest Lehigh. And we fought rails to trails for years out there. And I seen 2 weeks ago that in the paper, Sunflower was either contacting or gonna contact over here for a trail of some kind. And I'll tell you what, if you believe them guys, you better have your hat on the other end. And if you don't believe me, check with the county commissioners and their last meeting with them over there. I mean, they just blow smoke like nobody's business. And I hate to say no to something like that because it's kind of an end thing. But when they put a trail through the middle of your pasture out there and don't want to put a fence up on it or nothing else, why, it's BS. And that's the way they operate. And I would like, maybe, some consideration. I've still got land that goes across. I've plowed it up. Another 2 or 3 years, I ain't gonna worry about it. Maybe get planted out there, but I don't know. But I think it's a bad deal.
For what it's worth, all that we have done is agree to support an engineering study. We don't even know at this point in time where they would propose a trail. But we agreed to support them getting a grant. Didn't cost us a dime, didn't do anything, to do the study. And once that's done, if they want to then propose a trail, we would have the ability to say yes or no, and depending on where it is and so on.
Well, I hate to see you say yes to people like that.
Okay.
It just, I never seen it like, we was at the commissioners meeting and everything they said, we turned around and threw it right back at them. They had a lawyer there with them, and after about 15 minutes, that lawyer got up, he had his belly full. He looked around, all of them walked out. And as far as I'm concerned, that was a good deal. But, and the way things are going right now, I think everybody in city business, county business, or state business, I think they need to have their background checked a whole lot better than some outfits saying, oh yeah, they're good, and go with them. That just blows my mind. I sat by a girl one time at a horse sale when I was 16 years old, and the FBI come out and checked me. So I just thought that was funny.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Appreciate your time and your thoughts.
And I hope you don't agree with them. I hope that
If there's something that is being proposed to us, Mr. Schutte, Well, you'll know about it. I mean, it'll be on the agenda, and we're gonna try really hard to not ever vote on anything until it's been an opportunity to hear people's thoughts, so.
I can put the word out, we can fill this building.
How about you wait until there's a reason?
There you go.
Okay.
I just thought I'd throw that out before they were got started.
All right.
They get a hair when they've got it done now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn this meeting.
Second?
Excuse me.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously.